Hey, 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 how's everybody doing? Raul at Raul Morales Entrepreneur coming at you here this Friday evening. I don't know what time is it. It's like 10:30. Wow, 10:30. Coming at you just to share a little bit tonight. It's not going to be long. I'm just going to hang out for, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Something really short. But here's a quick question. Why do you work? Yeah, why do you work? And the question is simply because most of us think that we work to provide for our family. And my camera's falling off here. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's do it like that. And we think we're providing for our family, when in reality, what's happening is we're giving the best years of our life to a job, to a company, to a boss, to somebody else. And think about it. You spend 8 to 10 hours at work, you spend 8 hours sleeping, or averaging between work and sleeping, you're averaging 16 plus hours, including the commute. And what's left over, you give it to your family. Are we giving the best to our family, or are we giving what's left over to our family? Think about it. Why do I ask you this question? Because many people do not know why they work. They think it's to provide, and they work for the paycheck. They work for what the paycheck provides for you. Yeah, I agree. You got to pay the mortgage, you got to pay the bills, you got to buy food, you got to buy clothes, you got to save money for college for the kids if they're going to go to college. I understand all of that. But what I'm trying to convey to you is there's a better way. There's a better way. Why give somebody 50 to 60 years of your life to then at the end, you what's left over, you kind of like limp through life because your best years are in the past. And the worst part is many people live looking in the rearview mirror, looking back, and they miss what's best, which is in front of them. And I think that the thing that I want to share with you is there's different ways, better ways to do it. I'm going to share with you my story is I retired from the military, and in the military we have a different calling. Our calling is to country, not to a company or to a boss. Is to country. So we served 20 plus years, and then we retired. But we fall victim to the same thing, the 40-40-40. And if you haven't heard of that, that's our parents, the industrial era mindset. Work 40 hours, 40 years, and retire with 40%. Now we know that working 40 hours a week is a joke nowadays, right? And we know that 40 years is also a joke. The 40% is not, because that's real. If you get a retirement, that's what you're going to retire, 40%, 50% of your income. And then you have to make it up. People think Social Security is a retirement. It's not. Social Security, by definition, is a supplement to your retirement. And Social Security itself is broke. Go to the page, the Social Security governance page, and it says it's right plain right in the front page of the website. Social Security is bankrupt, and then it explains a whole bunch of other things. So why are we relying on these conventional, archaic ways to create income for our family when we can do it a better way? Move into the 21st century and leverage the opportunities that we have now. Now, I'm going to throw at you something that it may be controversial to you. When I retired from the military, 3 years before I retired, I started planning my retirement. What was I going to do? And I remember I did not want to work when I retired. I had given enough time to my military career. Had been away from my wife, away from my kids long enough. I wanted to stay home, and I sought something that gave me what I wanted: time and financial freedom. Time freedom and financial freedom. The best thing about it was dependent on me. I had to put in the work. If I did a lot, I got a lot. If I did a little bit, I got a little bit. If I did nothing, I got nothing. So it was all predicated by me, and I was used to doing that. So I said, hey, this is a piece of cake. So what I did was, when I did my research, I realized network marketing is a real business. I don't care what your experience is. In it may be good, it may be bad. If it was good, great. If it was bad, chuck all that stuff out the door, because there's a lot of rumors, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths from the past. Let's bust those myths. What happens? Network marketing is a real business. What happens in a real business? In a real business, I use the word loosely, real, but in a business, you trade products and services for money. In network marketing, you trade products and services for money. It's a business. Why do businesses fail? Conventional businesses. Why do conventional businesses fail? 50% of businesses fail in the first year. 85% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. 95% of businesses fail in the first 10 years. So when somebody fails in network marketing, what's the big deal? It's a business. So statistically, 50% of the people should fail in the first year, 85% of the people should fail in 5 years, 95% of people should fail in 10 years. That's statistically speaking. The difference is in conventional businesses, the losses are hundreds of thousands of dollars. In network marketing, the capital investment is only $200 or $300. And there lies the problem. People don't give it value, so they don't do the work. They don't do the due diligence to be a good entrepreneur in order to make the business work. If you have $500,000 on the line, you're going to try really hard. And even then, I told you the statistics, how many people fail. Why do they fail? They fail for lack of capital, operating capital. They fail because they don't have the right business plan. They fail because the company doesn't have the knowledge, the intrinsic knowledge to run the business. They fail because they launched a wrong product. They fail because they didn't study the market or where they were doing their business. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of those same things apply to network marketing. If you become an entrepreneur, you're going to do network marketing. Don't get lost in the glamour of I can make a lot of money. You still have to learn how to deal with people. You still need to learn how to associate, how to handle business aspects, how to promote. There's a lot of stuff to learn. But the investment capital is only a couple of $100, $200 or $300, and your return, your ROI, your return on investment is massive. If you do it correctly, it's massive. You can start making a lot of money. Remember what I said. Don't get me confused. I'm not making you promises, and this is just to bring you value, not to try to give you anything. But if you do a lot, you get a lot. If you do a little, you get a little. And if you do nothing, you get nothing. It's all predicated by the amount of work you put in. It's the same thing with a conventional business. If you work it hard, you get a return. And that's what you have to focus on. Excuse me. So the one thing that you can have in the network marketing business is you don't have to give it 40, 50 years to see significant returns. And you also create a legacy for your family. The good book says, raise your children, leave a legacy for your grandchildren. If you're a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, what else? I don't know, whatever your profession, your trade is, you cannot give it to your child unless your child studies to be that profession. And what you're doing is giving them a job. I mean, what kind of legacy is that? Nothing wrong with working, but after I learned what I learned, I realized that working for somebody else is not the answer. Why not dedicate 5 or 10 years to yourself, become financially in time freedom, financially independent, and have time freedom, and then enjoy life with your family? Do the things you love. And if you want to work, do it out of passion, not out of necessity. Do it because you love it. If you're a nurse, I mean, I love nurses. I respect nurses. I spent my career in medicine. Nurses are the most giving. I think that's one of the greatest. Right there with teaching, that's one of the most unappreciated professions. And if you love being a nurse, then make your living over here, pay your bills over here, and be a nurse out of passion. If you're a teacher, make your money over here to pay your bills, right? Create a legacy and teach out of passion. And that's the key. That's the key. So bust the myth that network marketing is not a real business. Bust the myth that network marketing doesn't work. All you have to do is you got to make it work for yourself. The beauty of network marketing is personal development. You have to have some personal development. You have to become better. Like I said, you need to know how to deal with people. You need to know about, some marketing. You need to learn that stuff, and you become a better person. And while you're building your business, so you work from 9 to 5, right? To make a living, and then you work from 5 to 9 to create wealth. And while you're building your wealth and you're making your living 9 to 5, because of your personal development, you do better at your job. And then when you build a legacy, you can then let go of your job. And that legacy, you can give it to your children if they're still alive and you so want to do so, but your grandchildren. And then you're not giving them a job. You're giving them a legacy. You're giving them You give them a certain amount of wealth that then they can carry on. If you do it correctly, remember, work hard, do a lot, get a lot, do a little, get a little, do nothing, get nothing. I posted something before about the compensation plan for network marketing in all companies pretty much, and that's it. The key thing, I'll close with this. Guys, we're in this inflationary period, the hardest inflation that we've had in over 4 decades. 4 decades. This is no joke. And then what follows inflation? Deflation. And if you in the economy, they say that deflation can be worse than inflation. But what's inflation? Inflation is our dollar's inability to buy what we used to buy. Our dollar's inability to buy what we used to buy, because as prices rise, our income doesn't rise. And the more money the government prints, it devalues our dollar. So our dollar is worth less and prices are going up. By definition, inflation occurs when the government prints money and then spends money, and that's causes the inflation. And when the inflation occurs, that's what happens. And we go into hard times. What happens to the deflation? In the deflation, prices are going down. Some people may say that's great. But what happens after suffering through the inflation? You don't have enough. You got to save some money. You don't spend as much. You don't go to restaurants. You don't go out. So businesses hurt. And then the deflation probably. And then people think, you know what? If I wait a little bit, I'll get a better price. But in the interim, the businesses are still hurting. And then other people say, you know what? We just went through that inflation period. I got to save some money, and they start saving money. And then we go through a contraction period of the GDP. And I don't mean to give you a financial course, but then the contraction period of the GDP, then we go into a recession. And then that's even worse, because then people start losing their jobs and businesses truly start to close. We're going through some hard time. Build a legacy. Get a network marketing business that has inelastic products, products that you cannot do without. Toothpaste, shampoo, deodorant, soaps to clean the house, soaps to clean your body, all that kind of stuff. That is stuff that people need, regardless of what the economy is doing. There was a gentleman that I met the gentleman, but I read in his book that he said, I don't worry about the economy because I create my own economy. So what I'm sharing with you is create your own economy. I'm giving you an opportunity. If you're interested in talking more about this, drop me info in the comments and let's talk. I'm not going to promise you anything, just a conversation. You have questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions. And we'll just have a casual chat as to what is it that's going on. Um, and you know, and not the market. You may know what's going on in the market, but how network marketing can be an asset, and that's the key. There's linear and assets that you can build. What's the linear income? A linear income is you trade time for money in your job. You go to work, you work 40 hours, 50 hours, you get paid for 40 or 50 hours every 2 weeks, or 40 or 50 hours a week, and then you get paid every 2 weeks or every month, depending on how your pay period goes. You don't work, you don't get paid. Now people say, well, I have PTO. You don't have endless PTO. So if something happens that you exceed the number of PTO days or hours, however your company tabulates it, you don't get income. That's a linear income, one for one. 1 hour, X number of dollars. 1 hour, X number of dollars. What's the other limitation with that? How many hours in a week? 168. That's the amount you can make. You cannot make any more than that. For simplistic purposes, let's say you make $10 an hour. I'm sure you don't, but let's say you make $10 an hour and there's 168 hours in the week. The most you can make if you work every single minute of the week is $1,680. So if you make $20, multiply that by 2 and so on and so forth, right? But we don't work every single hour of the week. But what I'm pointing out is there's a limitation. When you work, when you trade time for money, there's a limit as to how much money you can make. You have a cap. But when you leverage time and you have an opportunity that you can leverage time and you create an asset, then you multiply your time. Here's case in point, or point in case, however that goes. Example, you can only give, you're busy, you start a network marketing business, and you can only give it 2 hours a day. Let's use the day for simplistic purposes. 2 hours a day, right? Remember what I said, 9 to 5, you work to make a living, and then 5 to 9 you work to create your wealth by the developing a business and personal development. Right? You work on yourself. So you 2 hours. That's you. But then you start to build a network, and let's say you have a network of 10 people, you and 10 people, and everybody can only give 2 hours. So now your network is producing 22 hours. 10 times 2 is 20, and you're 22 hours. You're only doing two, but your network is working 22 hours, right? That's the power of leverage. I can't remember who it was, but somebody said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people than 100% of my own. Why? Because if 100 people, 1%, one gets sick, you still have 99% of your production. But if you depend just on you, which is what you do when you trade time for money, if you get sick, your production goes down to zero. That's the key. Build an asset. Move away from linear income. Build an asset. Leverage leverage the asset and create an income that eventually becomes residual income or ongoing income, and then leave a legacy for your family. That's my proposition for you. Like, follow, and let's keep the conversation going. And my hope is to bring you more value as I go. I hope this was helpful. I hope it tickled your brain, caused you to pause and give it some thought of what's happening. Go research. Look at the inflation, deflation, recession cycle that we're going to go through and see how bad things are. And then determine, is network marketing for me? And if it is for you, I would love to talk to you. If it isn't for you, then I urge you, find something. Find something that does not rely on linear income on your part. We don't know what's going to happen. You know, we can always think that nothing's going to happen to us, but that's being naive, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. And I'll leave you with this last thought. How long will you survive if you lose your job? How long will you survive if you lose your income or your ability to produce income? Robert Kiyosaki defines wealth in this way. Your wealth is time. It's not money. It's time. And he says, let's say your bills are $2,000 a month and you have $2,000 in your savings account. You're wealthy for 1 month. If your bills are $2,000 and you have $24,000 in your savings account, your wealth is 12 months. And so on and so forth, right? If you have $48,000 in your savings account and you still have $2,000 bills, your worth is 24 months, right? 2 years. So if you create, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you get to keep and where the money is coming from. And if you create a legacy, you create an asset that produces you money month after month, month after month, month after month, you're wealthy indefinitely. Have an awesome weekend. Today's Friday. It's almost 11 o'clock. I hope you guys have a great Friday, great Saturday, great Sunday. Stay connected. If you catch me on the replay, drop a comment, say replays, connect, tell me where you're connecting from. I always circle around and make comments on those who are on the replay, so I connect with everybody. All right. Have a great evening. Take it easy. Bye.